Hey friends, welcome back. My name's Jane Sarche. I write recipes for a living. This is Johnny's camper van. Johnny had to take the car to work today so that I could film in here again. Thank you, Johnny. We love you for it. Right, no waffle today. Let's crack on. Let's go foraging and let's make some soup. So this is my nettle foraging kit. I've got a pair of rubber gloves and a large colander. The gloves need to protect your forearms as well as your hands, so make sure you get long ones. Now I'm filming this in early April when nettles are at their most tender and delicate. I pick the top 3 or 4 clusters of leaves from the plant and then strip the leaves from the stem. If you're making this later in the year when plants are tougher and more stringy, then just focus on the top 2 or 3 clusters of leaves, and you may want to snip the stem off each leaf too. Although people say that you can only pick or eat nettles in spring, honestly I don't think that's true. If you trim a nettle bed even in the depths of November, the plants will start to grow back and they'll be just as young and tender as they are in spring. Now they may not have quite as much nutritive value as a spring nettle, but they'll no doubt still contain a heap more nutrients than a bag of spinach that's been sat on a supermarket shelf for a week or so. See those little hairs on the leaf and stem? Those are the bits that will sting you. And each of those hairs is actually a hollow, brittle rod of silica. As you touch the plant, the tip of the rod snaps, the sharp edge scratches your skin, and it emits a mix of chemicals such as histamine and formic acid, etc., into the skin, and that's what causes the stinging sensation and the rash. Traditionally, dock leaves are used, they're crushed between your fingers and then the juice is wiped on the sting, and that does help, but honestly I find I get much better effect from that plantain salve that I showed you how to make last year. So to make our nettle soup, we're going to need some oil. I'm using ghee, but you can swap that out for whatever oil you fancy. Some salt and pepper, lemon juice, and of course our nettles. I'm also using turkey stock left over from Christmas dinner and some veggies. I've got an onion, garlic, potatoes, a leek, and some celery. So start by heating your oil in a pan. Add in the onion and fry gently for a few minutes until translucent. Now I'm parked up next to my kitchen, so I'm just going to blend my soup indoors. But if you're making this whilst you're camping, or if you don't have a blender, just make sure you chop up all your veggies really small. Next up, add in the potato and leek. And a nice floury variety of potato is ideal, as it will break down and thicken your soup as it cooks. This pan is very pretty, but it's made of really thin metal, so food often catches and burns on the bottom. If this happens to you too, just pour in a little of your stock or water and that will help it from sticking. Then add in the stock, and you could of course use hot water and a stock cube if you prefer. Just pop on the lid and let simmer for about 10 minutes, giving you time for a cheeky little coffee break. Now I'm going to add in my nettles. I'm only adding half here because I want to show you another way to do this, just in case you don't have a blender. And just like spinach, when a nettle hits water, it shrinks and like disappears into practically nothing. So if you're blenderless, you can tip your nettles into a pan of boiling water to blanch them, and as soon as they hit hot water, their sting will be deactivated, so you can instantly oink them out again, and then when they're cool enough to handle, just squeeze the water out and finally chop them up with a sharp knife, and then you can just tip them in with your veggies. No blender needed. I'm also adding just a little squeeze of lemon juice for some acid, and this just helps balance out those flavours. And then I'm going to whip this pan indoors and give it a blast with a stick blender. Then finally, dish up, give another squeeze of lemon juice and dig in. So there we are, beautiful people. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please wallop the thumbs up for me, and also do consider subscribing. It really helps my channel out and I really appreciate it, so thank you. I'm going to catch up with you next Friday, so until then, please stay safe and keep smiling.